Hey guys, Dylan here with Crusader Gaming, and I'm just going to show you guys the build I'm currently using. It's another Crusader build. It's pretty different from what all my other videos are. I mean, I think I did, you know, a shield build one, except for it, I don't know, it just didn't feel right, so I tried to make I guess a revamped version of a shield build. And honestly, another thing is that as I was gaining my gear, like just finding more and more gear, you know, reforging and getting this and getting that, I kind of found that the shield is probably the Crusader's most valuable ally when fighting in higher torment levels. Like, it is really something that you don't want to take for granted. I mean, everybody has different, you know, like, viewpoints on it, but the fact is that whenever you're blocking and stuff, you can get such high block chance that you can be reducing all the damage you're taking. Like, for example, I know on this guy on Torment 3, if I block, I take no damage, and if I do get hit, I only get hit for 6,000 damage. Like, the damage mitigation on a Crusader it's extremely good, especially with what came out in the patch, where they take, just in general, Crusaders now take 15% less damage from all sources. I mean, they just straight up did that, and that was great. That's really where I started noticing it. But anyway, like I said, this is a shield build. This is completely utilizing the shield, in my opinion. Like, just, I only have a couple, I guess, of shield damaging moves on, because there's only so many moves that actually, you know, deal damage based on your shield's block chance. But anyway, first off, I'll just start with the gear, and that's not the gear, that's definitely the skills. Alright, so first off, really the only thing I'm going to tell you to go out and get is a Justice Lantern, which I don't have. I've been looking, and I still can't find it, which is unfortunate, because it gives you 16% more block chance. And then the next ring, and I guess the next ring I would tell you to find is this one, the Royal Ring of Grandeur. I'm still trying to farm up a better one that has the Trinity on it, because as you can see, I'm missing crit hit damage, but it's still not bad because it reduces the number of set items. But that's for farming reasons, so you can get like the Cane set with only using 2 pieces and stuff like that, like I have going right here. But after that, all you need is a shield with high block chance. That's it. Like right here, I got really lucky, because honestly, most shields that I'm seeing, I'm only seeing like, oh god, I don't know, like 23% chance to block and stuff like that. I actually think I just got lucky getting this high of a block chance. But this is probably the shield that I would recommend using too, because it has a chance to do something on block, and you block a lot with this build. I mean, you literally have more of a chance to block than you do to not block in this build. So, and the block amount's not bad. I mean, 13,000 to 17,000, especially in Torment 2 and 3. I actually haven't tested out 4 yet. I will though. I'm thinking, in theory, honestly, I think it'd be Torment 5 is when you actually, whenever you block, damage actually gets through to you with this kind of build, if you have this block amount. But oh, next, another thing it's nice is actually just these illusory boots, or illusory, or whatever. Just because, you know, you can move through enemies unhindered. I have level requirement reduced by 30. That's ridiculous. Just notice that. After that, just make sure you're getting your attack stats. You know, like, you want to go for like the Trinity of, you know, critical hit damage, critical hit chance. You don't necessarily need attack speed for the Trinity. You can do what I did here and just get the 55 to 109 damage, because in certain situations it's actually better than attack speed. But like here, you know, you want the Trinity. Here you want the Trinity. Now this gear is a little bit hard to find. It's a little bit trickier to find. It's a lot easier though now that you have the re-rolling thing as compared to before this was out. But yeah, so now let's get into the build. First, for the primary, we have Punish. Now, honestly, the rune here, it's really all up to you what you want to use. If I had to recommend one, it's either going to be Roar or Celerity, or Celerity. I don't know, whatever. Celery. I'm just going to call it Celery. That works. Alright, yeah, when you block with Hardened Senses, you gain 15% attack speed. That's actually really good because you block so much, so it takes my 800,063 or 862,000 DPS, probably turns it into about 930. Like you gain a considerable amount to run around with. Next, and then the next one would be Roar. This just deals damage, and I actually stack fire damage. So like 19% here, 13% here, just because I have a Maximus. It's purely why I stack fire damage. But it helps with Roar, so I mean I figured that. It also helps with Akarat's Champion, because that's also a fire move. Alright, so then after that I have Shield Bash. This is probably, if you have a shield with a high block percent on it, or like a high block chance on it, this is going to be your most powerful move. I can guarantee it. No move is going to hit as hard as this. I crit for like 10 million, 10 to, I think the highest I've seen is 14 million with this. Just because of what it does. So 740% weapon damage plus 500% of my shield's block chance. So that means whatever 500% of 30% is, which is probably a lot. Pound is the room, which it does. It like pretty much completely reworks the whole thing. Like, if you turn this off, let me see what it turns back to. Yeah, if you turn it off, it just goes way down. But this does reduce the range, but that's not a big deal at all, because you're going to be up close and personal with this build all the time. Next, we have Bombardment. This move is purely for elite packs. That's normally what I save it for. It's just when I'm fighting elites. Otherwise, I can kill everything else fairly easily with Maximus and stuff like that. Yeah, this build kind of it works in. I built this build around my gear, so you might actually find some things are better for you than they are for me, because you have to remember is that, like, whenever you get a weapon like Maximus and stuff like that, it makes all the difference. And again, it's like I've shown in my other videos, I'll show you guys why it makes a difference for me by having this sword and stuff like that and certain pieces of gear. But yeah, anyway, Bombardment. I chose Annihilate, so each impact is gonna critical hit. These things crit for like 5 to 10 million, I believe. I think sometimes actually more than that. But it's just a really strong move. It just kills things. Alright, so now I have Laws of Justice. I use this especially because this is my current build that I'm using for single player. If I am playing in a group, I switch to Laws of Valor and I do Answered Prayer, because getting those Nephilim's Glory Orbs is very, very efficient for farming. It makes you move a lot faster. But aside from that, I'll use Laws of Justice. 140 increased resistance to all elements, it's nice. And then I gain 7,000 armor for 5 seconds whenever I first turn it on. Now that's also really good. It's one of those moments when it's just like, oh man, there's just really hard a fix, and I need to just try to tank my way through it. Alright, a movable object, Akarat's Champion. Alright, so then Condemn, Eternal Retaliation. This move's very, very strong. It crits for 10 million. I have a high crit chance, so it crits a lot. But it deals 1100% weapon damage, is holy to all enemies in the 15 yards, and for every enemy it hits, it reduces the cooldown by 1 second. Now, there is a minimum of a 3-second cooldown because it takes 3 seconds for this to go off, so keep that in mind. So you're never going to just be, I mean, you're pretty much going to be spamming it, but you know, like never like completely spamming it. I mean, because I press this thing all the time. Like, it's not on cooldown for very long, hardly ever. Unless you're fighting a boss, then you kind of need to switch this out if you're fighting a boss and go more for something like maybe Provoke, so you can get more Wrath for this. Yeah, I'd say go with like Provoke because it generates Wrath. And then do Hit Me because it increases your block chance. Because that'll help with a passive that I'm going to show you in a second. Alright, so Akarat's Champion. This is just a way of becoming super buff. This probably puts my DPS up to 1,000,000 something, I think. And it increases my Wrath regeneration. And I gain 150% armor while it's active. So if I know I'm about to die, or I'm in a boss fight and I really don't want to die, you know, stuff like that, I turn this on, because this is also whenever the first time you take fatal damage while this is active, you return to 4 health. So it's just kind of like it's like a safeguard pretty much, which is also pretty good. And it also makes you do a lot more damage. Alright, now the passive skills are actually this is really where like you kind of see that this is a shield build, because these are really what work with your shield the most, I would say. I mean, I guess Shield Bash does a lot. But, oh, and this also increases your block chance by 15%. Not sure if I pointed that out, but it does. So that's great, just so you know, for 5 seconds. But you use this thing all the time. Alright, anyway, Renewal. Whenever you successfully block, you gain 12,000 life. Now, keep this in mind whenever you're looking at this. That sounds like low, because like when I first looked at it, I was like, oh, it's garbage, it's low. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to try this out. I'm going to see how it goes. I gained like 80,000 life and stuff like that. It's crazy because you can block multiple attacks at once. So just remember that. So you could get like 30,000 life one time, maybe even 12,000 life another time, but then another time you get like 80,000 life. It makes it way better than Wrathful. I mean, it's way better than Wrathful to me. Heavenly Strength just for DPS reasons, so you don't have to sacrifice any DPS while you're using your shield. You get that two-handed weapon, so you get a two-handed weapon. You also get the two-handed weapon stats, which is the equivalent of like 2 one-handers, and then you also get, or I don't know, it's probably not quite 2 one-handers, but it's roughly that. And then you also get the stats of a shield, which is great. But I mean, it does reduce your movement speed, but that's not a big deal. Hold your ground, and you can't dodge anymore, but your block chance is increased by 15%. Now, you're not a dexterity build, so you're never really going to have dodge unless you're in a group with a monk who has the dodge mantra on. So you're not really missing out on anything by turning this on. All you're gaining is 15% block chance. Now, this next ability, this next passive is actually really good for me because I have that shield with a high percentage on it. Your armor is increased by a percent equal to your shield's block chance. I do that pure for toughness reasons, so that means I gain 29% armor. I have 23,000 armor as compared to, like, I was talking to my friend, I was like, how much armor do you have? I was curious as in comparison. My friend was playing a monk, and he had like 8,000 armor, and I was just like, damn, I am ahead of the game on this one. But these guys are beefy. I mean, I only take 14% damage, or actually, I guess really only 13% if you want to round that up. But yeah, so that's pretty much, you know, the abilities in a nutshell. It's like I said, you know, it's really shield based, and these two items do a lot just off their abilities. Like this here, as I'm about to show you, you'll just kind of see me running through things with these illusionary boots, you know, because I can just move through enemies, and you're just gonna notice that I'm just critting things for probably about 4 million, and that's what this shield is doing. You can't really see it because it says, you know, summon a charging wolf, and that sounds pretty badass, but it's actually more like you get charging bunnies. That's how small they are. Kind of sucks, but it's still good. Still really good. Alright. Where do I want to go? Let's go to the Keep Depths, level 3. The Breach. Nah. We're going to go... Get him, Maximus, get him. Notice how I'm not really doing anything here. That's Maximus for you. Now, if I could just get Maximus to not drop. Notice how, yeah. See that? See those 4 million crits? That's the shield right there. Now we got an elite pack.
Not yet.
Uh-oh.
Not enough left.
As you can see, I'm on Torment 3. And this guy's going down fairly quick. That was a 9.8 million crit with shield dash. So, I mean, this is very hard-hitting ability. I was able to honestly make pretty quick work of that. They even had Arcane Enchanted, which I'd recommend just keeping something like this. Prevents all arcane damage. You get to healed for 25% of it, so you can just stand in those globes. Alright, let's do another one. Out. We'll try to do this one without champion apparatus. Oh man.
Not enough left.
Also, kind of watch my healing too. I mean, sometimes you see like 12,000 like it is there, and then sometimes you see like 36,000. And boom goes the dynamite. So, as you can see, like it's very efficient for farming on Torment 3. And personally, and I like the build a lot. This build was made with higher end gear intended, so do remember that whenever you're going into this, because I mean, I do have 863,000 damage. Well, yes, that's a lot. I'm sure there are people who have a lot more than that, but I feel like that's honestly that's when you really start getting up into the high end of the game and gear and all that, is once you get up into that range. And also notice how I only have 4,000 healing, but I'm surviving just fine. That's like solely because of renewal, and then my health globe bonus probably. I think that's like all I have. It's like health globe bonus, yeah, 53,000. So, anyway, guys, that's gonna do it for the video. Hope you liked it. Just you know, hit the like button if you liked it, subscribe if you want to keep on supporting us, and I will see you guys next time.